Okay, nope, we're not talking right now. So we have, here's what you need to get out for today. You will need your chapter 2 packet. We're gonna do page 10. We will need our ESRT. You will need a ruler and a red or a bright orange colored pencil. They may have already been on your desk. If they are, you don't need a new one. If you don't have one, everything's up front here. So grab a ruler and a colored pencil. Yeah. So where'd it go? All right, so yesterday we did a lot of latitude and longitude on page 9. I don't recall, did we go over that? We did in this class. Okay, well, it must have just been my last class of the day that didn't get a chance to go over it. So now we're going to focus in on New York State. So if you could take your reference table and turn it to page 2 and 3 to start off with. I do want to look at them. I need a blank one. Apparently I don't have another blank one because I wanted to print them, but the printer's not working. Look at my room. There's stuff everywhere. That one's good. How about this one? Perfect. The disaster zone here. Get a new one. All right, pages 2 and 3. I do want to look at them like this to begin with. So have them both open. When you have them both open like this, you see that we're basically looking at 2 maps of New York State. In fact, not only are they 2 maps of New York State, they're the background of each map is exactly the same. So you can see here, we do have New York State right there. That exact same map is right here. Yes, there's more information on this second map of New York State, but really they're the same map, just with different information put on top of them. You can see map 2 does not have, the map on page 2 doesn't have much information on it. So we're going to be focusing on the map on page 3 for today. So if you could go ahead and we're going to just look at that map. And we're going to be looking at the latitude and longitude on these maps. So first thing, just a test, take your ruler and put it latitude for me. Put it the latitude way on your paper. Remember latitude, latitude. And yes, I did ask you to get a red pen, but for this I want you to, or a red pencil, just go ahead and use whatever normal writing utensil you have. And we're going to draw in some latitude lines. In fact, actually, before we start that, yesterday, can somebody flip back to page 9? What did we say the latitude for Buffalo was? You're on page 9. What did we say the latitude for Buffalo was?
45.
We said the latitude for Buffalo was 45 degrees north. Let's see if we were right. Can everybody find 45 degrees north? Hang on, but find 45. So work with me here. Go ahead and put your ruler along the 45-degree latitude line. That's way up top. If you can't find the 45, it's at the very, 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 very top of the page. We're actually going to draw this in. Now, this map gives us some helpful hints for drawing this in. Notice how right here at this 45, it's almost like a plus sign right here. The flat part is for the latitude, the longitude of 75 is the up and down one. And again, you've got a 45 on both sides. Go right ahead and carefully line your ruler up. And again, wait. Is it too late? Did you already use your reds? If you already used your red, continue with it. But if you didn't, let's go with just your regular pen or pencil. And go ahead and draw that one in. Draw that line in. That's the 45 degrees north line. If you're using pencil or just a black pen or a blue pen, go ahead and make that line pretty dark. I want it to be noticeable. So were we okay with saying Buffalo had a latitude of 45 degrees north? Is Buffalo anywhere near that line? No. Now, in terms of the map we did yesterday, 45 was fine. So a map of the world saying Buffalo had a latitude of 45 was okay. That put us right, like that was a good estimate. We can't get super accurate on a map of the world. But when we have a map of something close up like this, it's easier to get more accurate. So let's keep going with these lines. Let's go right ahead and do the draw in all the latitudes. You'll see 44 is the next one down. Again, you're going to want to be careful that you line it up completely. Continue down on the 43. So you should go from 45 down to the bottom to 41. How do you feel about these lines? Anybody annoyed by them already? None of you are annoyed? None of you are bothered that the lines are crooked? Did you notice that your lines are crooked? You did, Hayden? Especially down here, doesn't this line look pretty slanty? Or you guys, are you straight? No. Why do you think the lines are crooked? Let's talk about that. What do you guys think? Why are the lines not beautifully straight? There's a couple of reasons. One is that we're taking a round earth and putting the lines on a flat sheet of paper. That's one reason. The other reason is in real life, New York is actually tilted a little bit. New York does not go perfectly straight across like this. New York kind of tilts a little bit like that. And now look, don't my lines look pretty straight now? Maybe. It's hard to say because the New York's in the background still, but the lines are supposed to be crooked or not perfectly straight across the paper. So again, we said that Buffalo had a latitude of 45 yesterday. That's way up here. So we were off. What would you say? So everybody find Buffalo. This was part of the challenge. Now, Buffalo, you should all have a general gist of where Buffalo is, because again, it's near where we live. So can you all find Buffalo? What would be a more accurate? Is Buffalo 43 degrees? No. Is it 42 degrees?
37.
37. 37's not up. Never mind.
I was thinking like 43.
Oh, okay.
There's way more space.
There is, yeah. What? 43.3. Oh, I see what you're doing. So first of all, here's 42. And if you covered up the number like I did, you might want to write that number bigger. That's 42 right there. And this is 43 here. Is Buffalo going to be 43.3?
42.7.
Right, it's gonna be 42 something. So Buffalo is in between the 42 and the 43 line. So that's gonna be the first thing you do. And you know what? We're actually starting the work we're gonna be doing all day today, which is on page 10. So if you want to flip your packet to page 10, we can actually start to write this in. I should make Buffalo first from now on, but Buffalo's the second one on here. Again, going back to that whole part where I'm lazy, I go right now, I know that Buffalo's in between 42 and 43. So I know Buffalo is 42 something. Did you just break that?
Yeah.
Because we weren't using it the way we were supposed to use it? Yes. Okay, so it's 42 something. What would we estimate it at? Now wait before you estimate. So first of all, this map again has helpful hints. Do you see this plus sign right here in Lake Erie? That's the halfway mark. So go ahead on that halfway mark. I don't want a whole nother line, but I'm gonna do a dashed line here. We don't need to draw those in for all of them. We're just gonna do it for maybe just this one. So what line, what does that dashed line represent? Halfway. 42 what? 42 and a half, which in decimals, what is that? 42.5. Is Buffalo at 42.5? No. Okay, just a quick refresher then. What's halfway? Let's do like about halfway between this 42 and the 42, 42.5 and 43. What's that halfway mark? 0.75. So remember, you're right, but we're not doing that anymore. This is 42.75. Is Buffalo at 42.75? No, it's a little bit higher. What do you want to call Buffalo then? 42.9 work, 42.8. Now, is that a latitude there? Degrees north. How'd you know it was degrees north? Nowhere on this map tells me it's degrees north. We're always north. So if you remember back to the map, and we even wrote it, I had you write it at the bottom down here. North America, which New York is in North America, we're somewhere over here, is always north of the equator. The equator's not on this map. We're so far north of the equator, they don't even have it on this map. So everywhere on this map is north. Maybe we should add that. I don't see why not. There's a blank space right here. All are north, or everything is north. Yeah, I like everything better if you didn't. All north. They're all degrees north. So that's latitude. Now we're going to do longitude. If you didn't already use your red pen or pencil, this is where I just want to do the lines differently so that you don't mess them or get them confused with each other. So let's do, yesterday we said the longitude. What did you have the longitude as, Hayden? What did we write? Flip back to page, just one page. For Buffalo, what did we say the longitude was? 80 degrees west. Well, is 80 degrees west even on this map? Not. Closest thing we got is 79. So let's go to 79 and draw in the latitude line for 79. Is Buffalo even on 79? It's not. Let's draw on the 78 while we're at it. Now be careful here, because as English speaking and English reading people, we're used to going left to right with our numbers. This one, because we're in the Western hemisphere, this number is 79 here. Again, if you can't see it, maybe rewrite it. This one is 78. And they're labeled, you just might have covered it up with your lines. So Buffalo's in between 78 and 79. So the same thing I did last time. I know it's in between 78 and 79, so it's 78 point something. Oh, just grab a different one. You're the left. Okay, that's fine. What would we estimate this to be at? 78 point what? It's pretty darn close, isn't it? I think it's really close. I agree. 0.9 sounds good. And what label does it get? Degrees what? West, degrees west. Remember, all of New York State is north. And now let's add to that, west. They're all degrees north and west. The entire United States is north of the equator and west of the prime meridian. So what we're gonna do for pretty much the rest of class. Now, first of all, I do want to point out that you will have homework after either me or Mr. D approves your table. So first thing we're gonna do is just this table. When you're done with this table, you can start your homework. We are not going to do these down here. Just the table. Part of this map, part of the struggle with this map is finding places. Every last one of these places is on here. And you know what? Can we do one more together? I want to do the very last one together, the mouth of the Niagara. First of all, do you guys know where the Niagara River is? Near Niagara Falls. It's labeled on this map. You may have covered it up with your line, but it's right there. So everybody stop what you're doing and work with me for this one. I should have told you that. I should have told you this first. So the mouth of the Niagara, do you guys know if a mouth of a river is the beginning or the end of a river? It's actually the end, and here's how you know which way. Rivers are like thoughts and your words. Everything you say comes out of your mouth. Where does it begin or where should it begin? Huh? In your mind, which is in your head. Rivers, just like your thoughts, start in your head and come out your mouth. So rivers kind of you out of the mouth, just like your words, just like your thoughts. So rivers end at the mouth. The mouth is where a river ends. So here's a dilemma. So here's the river, and if you can't see it, here's the river pretty much right here. It goes from Buffalo to Niagara Falls. It connects Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. Do you guys know which side of it is the mouth and which one is the head? That's a good question. Is Buffalo the mouth?
No, it's not,
How do you know?
because my dad always says going like on to the mouth.
Okay, oh, so he goes to the mouth, so he goes on Lake Ontario, and he goes to the mouth to go to steelhead fishing.
It's both the mouth.
There are two mouths. Well, the lake, never mind, there are not two mouths. There are more than one mouth. Oh, so he goes to probably not the mouth of the Niagara. He goes to the mouth of probably the Cattaraugus.
I don't know.
Which lake is he in?
Ontario.
Oh, he isn't. Okay, so it might be. It might be. I don't know. I'm not a fisherman, woman, person. Don't know anything about steelheads.
Pretty good.
If we have a chance, I'll go ask Mr. Miga. He knows all those answers. Not asking Mr. D either.
I don't think so.
Anyway, back to this. So some of you might know a little bit about this. You are correct, Hayden, but here's how do you guys know which way rivers flow? All rivers flow.
South, north, because, no, never mind.
All
Down.
rivers, what?
No.
All rivers flow down. Now, I'm guessing a few of you might have said what Hayden said first, south, and maybe we don't need to get into it. But there have been some miscommunications between,
That's not true, but I also know.
right, so, go ahead.
Where I hunt, there's this little stream, and it goes uphill,
where?
where I hunt,
Where you hunt?
yeah.
It goes uphill?
Swear to God,
Do you hunt on a different planet?
no. Strikers 191, it's so weird.
Guess who else I'm gonna ask about that?
I will, next time I'm up in that spot, I will.
I definitely need a video.
It's weird,
Yeah, how's it going uphill, Hayden?
I don't know, it does. Swear to God.
He must have gone to let his dog out. He knows all the hunting stuff. Anyway, let's forget we all heard what Hayden said until he can prove it with a video.
Next time up there, I'll be.
All rivers flow downhill. All rivers have to flow downhill. FYI, there is a big difference between down and south. We already talked about this in this class, didn't we? Did we talk about that?
Yes.
Can you all point down? Do you remember which way is south?
Hang on a second.
It's that way. Finger part is that way.
I
Do you see
figure
the
out where I
difference
was.
between my hands? Down and south are two different things. So don't think when I say down, I mean south. I know why people get confused because south is down the map. So down the map, but I don't want you to think of it as down the map. I want you to think of it as south. Yeah.
Okay, what if people are describing a location and they say down?
So then they are still, they're not saying it properly, but we all know what they're talking about. That's why on the region, so we're talking like there's proper versus not quite exactly the way. It is down the map, but it is just south. So it's like acceptable to say like down south, because you're using down and south. But down is that way, south is that way. So I see where you're coming from. And again, because they kind of preface it by saying down and south, it's okay. But I know a lot of people mess it up and say all rivers flow south, which is actually the first thing Hayden said. He said all rivers flow south, and I don't want you to think of that. I want you to remember that all rivers flow down. So how the heck do we know which way is down for the Niagara River? Search this reference table to see if you find anything that'll help us figure out which way is down. No, look at the reference table. Oh. Anybody see anything over by the Niagara River that'll help us figure out which way is down? East. What? Elevation. So see how these people, they took my advice, Cole, they're like, what is she saying? First of all, she wouldn't be asking us if it wasn't on there, right? Here it says elevation right here, elevation of Lake Erie, elevation of Lake Ontario. Elevation means how high up, right? Lake Erie is 175 meters up. Lake Ontario is 75 meters up. So which way does this river flow? From what lake to what lake? Which lake does it start in and which one does it go to? Goes from Erie to Ontario. Here's the Niagara River.
You think it'd be the opposite.
Okay, so that's another thing. We don't necessarily flow from a bigger lake to a smaller lake. We always flow downhill. And think of it, Hayden, do you actually know where this goes? Yeah, which is even bigger.
Yeah, but.
You're right, it is opposite because we've all been trained to think rivers flow south. And that's not true. Rivers flow downhill. So the mouth of the Niagara, by the way, is right here in Lake Ontario. We did all that just so you can answer that last one. Want to tell me the latitude now? Is it 43? Is it 44? Is it 40? Here's this halfway mark. Here's the halfway mark. Is it the halfway mark between 43 and 44?
43.1257.
I think, so wouldn't you say it's closer to the halfway between the halfways?
Oh, never mind. Yeah.
What would that be? If this is 43.5,
0.3.
this technically would be 43.25, but 42.3 works just fine. All right, so for the rest of the period, you are going to work on that chart. You're going to do the latitude and the longitude for each location. Mr. D and I are going to check over your shoulder, or if you're confused, call us over. if we are satisfied with your graph, you can start your homework, which is pages 14 and 15. So you have about 15 minutes or so to get working on that. Again, finishing the chart and then doing your homework.